Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh no, 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 please. Please. Why? No, 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 no. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, please. Oh my gosh. Oh my. No, no, no. Fucking close. Please. Oh my gosh. Die. Just die. Just die. I do no damage. I do no damage. I'm so dead. I'm so dead. There is no way. Why are you here? Alright, so, hey guys, Sarcasm back at it here with another absolute banger of a video. You already know what's up. Don't forget to smash that like button, obliterate that subscribe button, and, oh yeah, turn on notifications so you know when I stumble back to video. Alright, that's enough of that. So, here's what's actually happening. I wanted to see if you could be grounded using only the shovel, inspired by this video. It sounds dumb, because it is dumb, but that's the point. The rules are pretty simple. I can only use the shovel as my weapon. No spears, no bows, no fancy insect hammers, no axes, just a glorified gardening utensil. Number 2, armor is allowed because otherwise I'd be ant food in like 4 minutes. Number 3, no pets, because if I can't use a spear, I definitely can't use an aphid sidekick. With that out the way, let's find out if a piece of backyard Home Depot equipment is actually enough to survive the horrors of giant spiders, killer bees, and terrible decision making. It's basically just a regular start. I have to collect just a bunch of pebblets, a bunch of like sprigs, plant fiber. I make the crude rope. It's basically all the exact same. The only difference here is I never chop down a piece of grass and I beeline it for the oak tree so I can find the few scattered pieces and bits of acorns that are sitting at the oak tree that you don't need to bust with a hammer. And from that, I'm able to make an acorn shovel, and this is my weapon for the rest of the run. After getting the only weapon that I will have for the rest of this playthrough, I make my way over to like the shrinking size regrower thing. I don't know what it's called. But we have to reactivate 2 of the lasers, and one of them is simple enough. You basically just go kill a couple mites, they die in like 4 hits to the shovel, and it's fine. But the other one is where the big issues start, because you have to chop down a blade of grass. I don't know if you know this, but in Grounded, in order to chop down grass, you need an axe. You can't use a shovel. So I'm basically soft locked here until I had an epiphany, and that is ladybugs. Ladybugs can chop down grass for you. And it did take me luring an orb weaver over to this blade of grass to have that epiphany, but I still had it, and I was still able to chop the grass down after dying many times to the orb weaver. And then we activate the coolest thing I've ever seen. Holy shit, what the hell? And as it turns out, it did literally nothing except for open up the door over by the oak tree for whatever reason. Like, why couldn't they have just opened up the door in the first place? But now the lab over at the oak tree is open, so I can head over there and talk to Burgle. I then make my way over to the hedge, which I have to do to get Burgle the chip to progress in the game. I have to do 3 laps. I have to do the hedge, I have to do the black ant, and I have to do the pond. After reaching the hedge lab, I scan a thing that somehow already knows like my fingerprints and stuff. I don't know how any of that works. But here I just have to do a puzzle to find the keys to a password. And once I find that password, I put it into the terminal and it gives me the chip that I need. Also, there's a lot of like spiderlings and orb weaver juniors here, so I did have to deal with a few of those, and there's a couple like other robots that are somewhat hard to deal with here, and I had killed them too, but it was no big deal. Then I just had to make my way back to Burgle, give him the chip that I got from the lab over at the hedge, and I had to talk to Burgle again, of course. I also took some time to make the upgrade bench, whatever it's called, to upgrade some of my weapons because I got the granite stones and the hard stones and everything over at the hedge lab. So I was able to upgrade some of my shovels and my armor. I also did the same thing with the workbench, and how I got the resources to make these was just by resource collecting and getting a ladybug to chop down a blade of grass for me. And after getting my objectives from Burgle, I decided that the first lab that I wanted to hit up was going to be the Black Ant lab because I feel like that would be the least painful out of the 3 next labs. So I made my way over to the bench in the shovel, and I realized I couldn't get onto the bench because I need to blow up the rock below the shovel to actually get into it. So I had to go to the old ant hill to get old ant eggs to craft the brat burst, and then I had to go over to the infection, kill an infected animal to get fungal growth to make the brat burst, the bomb, to blow up this rock. And then I made my way over to the shovel to blow up the actual rock using the bomb, and it hits me. Wait a minute. This isn't the shovel. I'm breaking the rules. So I backtrack. I look up a speedrun of the game, glitchless. I see how they get into the sandbox, and there is another route into the sandbox, but there are 2 main issues. To get into the Black Ant lab, you have to use another Brat Burst, and at the very end of the game, when you use the embiggening cocktail, you have to use a Brat Burst to open up the coffee pot there. Neither of those are shovels, so I can't use the Brat Burst, which means I can't beat the game, which means, once again, no, you cannot beat grounded with only the shovel.